All right, I wasn't going to start this way, but really quick, why? Why do I get set up here, climb over this couch because there's no real way to walk into this because we're trying to set this up, but not for ergonomics, for set up for our filming, and this happens.
Oh, poor baby.
Yeah, well, this is really poor craftsmanship. You wouldn't have this problem if you actually made it a little better. Shouldn't have to worry about the nails of my shoe not holding my heel. All right, we're going to start over. We're going to. Welcome to the Wife Well Led podcast. Today we're going to talk about wellness.
Oh, what a fitting topic, Eric.
Well, let's give it some structure. Let's talk about wellness from society and then the disconnect in the workplace, because
Okay.
I think it's pretty obvious people are not happy in the places that they work.
Yeah.
And I am sure that's societally across the globe, but for our context and the American context, people are not happy working. There seems to be a bit of escapism when it comes to trying to take care of themselves. I think it's because people want to feel better in some way, shape, or form. They're reaching for something that makes them want to feel better. And thankfully, it means less alcohol, less vices, less processed foods, and actually doing activities that feel more wholesome, going and exploring to destinations where you can take care of yourself a bit better, whether it's cold plunges, infrared saunas, red light therapy, massages, whatever it might be. Tracking your vitals more and your stats and numbers is great. I love that. And I know that that's a big thing for people, but I see it as an escape. Question then becomes is why does it work really well when the individual or a group of people do it together? And then when corporate offers something half as good, if not at all, it gets laughed out of the room.
I think that saying that it works well for individuals might not be truly looking at the whole picture, because I think that a lot of the things that people are doing in the wellness space are band-aids. They are temporary fixes to bigger problems. They're not actually addressing long-term problems. I am 100% supportive of the wellness movement. I love the saunas. I love the cold plunging. I track my vitals every single day. I see a functional medicine doctor. Like I'm in. I do some weird stuff. I've buried myself in wood chips.
Yes, you have.
I've done some crazy underwater massages. I mean, just like crazy things, cool stuff. But I think a lot of it is temporary fixes to a longer term problem that we're not addressing. To kind of get a better picture of it, we need to back up and look at society. Just go on our TikTok. You can see the negative comments that pour in anytime we talk about corporate America. There is a visceral hate for corporate America. Employees feel like their companies do not appreciate them, do not look at them as people. They look at them as numbers. They use them, they abuse them. I mean, that is truly the sentiment of the American workforce, the majority of the American workforce. And frankly, it saddens me because I know that there are alternatives out there. I know that there are companies who actually do care because we work with them every single day. But for a majority of people, that's not their reality. So of course, escapism is part of that. Of course, they're looking for ways to find a little bit of hope within their day when otherwise they wouldn't find that.
It's interesting, though, that you want to take care of yourself and prolong your life, but yet majority of your life you're working and you're miserable.
Yeah.
Societally, you don't necessarily think that. Like you're reaching for the thing to give you comfort and to alleviate a problem, which in this case, I think is escapism. But I think that there's a positive here if it goes beyond just taking care of oneself, is to take care of others eventually. We're just not there yet. Obviously, we're not there yet. If you're offering as a corporate entity, in-person gym or gym memberships, yoga classes, or the ERP programs where you're offering different things that are giving credits towards seeing counselors and this and that. I'm not saying those are bad things, but people laugh those out of the room. I mean, they really don't see that, I mean, maybe it's corporate thinks that is with all good intentions trying to help, and it just gets laughed out of the room.
Well,
and to me, that says that there is to your point, there is a really deeper issue when it comes to how we work with each other.
I think much like AI, where we can sense posts that are written by AI, videos that are written by AI. I think employees are smarter than employers maybe give them credit for. They kind of follow the rope, and you find maybe some real reason. So there are companies out there who have great programs and they do it for the right reasons. And then there are other companies that, their insurance premiums go down because they have a healthier workforce. When you have a healthier workforce, people take less time off. Having a gym within your building, that's a benefit because that means people are in your building longer. Same with in-house daycares. All great benefits on the outside, but I think that people can look into that and say, is there an ulterior motive here?
Sure. And even with the best of intentions, it still gets laughed out of the
Right.
room because there is that sentiment in society.
But it's the negative society that people have that creates that, right? Like you could have the best intentions in the world, but something is going to be misconstrued because people are just so angry and so pessimistic about where we are.
And to dive into that would take hours and not
Yeah.
even days and months and years. Fine. Not getting too deep into that. If we just stick with the work context, that there is harder work that needs to be done, as we can talk about it from a root cause analysis or just understanding the system better, that there is these temporary things, these symptomatic fixes, these band-aids, these, metal sheets over potholes to the root cause work that might actually be really difficult. Actually, it is really difficult because of the difficult conversations, but that it might fundamentally change how we work. And that's scary because there are people who benefit from that.
Right. Well, every system
Is benefiting, somebody's benefiting from it in some way. And it may be people that you don't even realize. It may be you who hates it, but if you had to change how you work and be uncomfortable and do this and that, and have to talk with a department you don't like, and have to have a competency challenge to what you're doing for a little while with that learning curve, that's a defensive mechanism in and of itself. Point being, I think, is this though, okay? That this escapism that really works in people's free time and taking their PTO and taking their holiday time to rest, recover, and go back to a place where they are not happy. Why is it then that it doesn't work in corporate? Is because, like you said, it's not authentic. It doesn't come off authentic, and it doesn't address the real challenge, which we could name a few, but I think the big one for me is just from an employee perspective, you're asked to do 4 different job roles for one person, and you just aren't appreciated for it. That's to me what it feels like. Why is it then that you cannot have these tough conversations to have better employee relations with their employer? And even with the best employee, best CEO in the world trying to fix that problem, that system, it's a Edward Deming's quote. A bad system will beat a good person every single time. Why are the systems so bad? Why is it that we've gotten to where we are? And I don't have an answer to that right now.
Well, it's interesting. That kind of ties in with the statistic that I saw recently that said I think it's only 36% of people actually feel like their employer cares about them.
Mm-hmm.
That means that there's somewhere in the ballpark of 65 to 70% of employees feel like their employer doesn't care about them, or that someone at work doesn't care about them. That's just sad.
It is
That's
sad.
like, as we look at it as a society, I mean, we know that hope is at its lowest amount, that happiness is on the decline dramatically. We see mental health problems increasing. We see physical health problems increasing. As a society, we are just really unhealthy, right? And so of course we're searching for quick fixes. Of course we want something that's going to make us feel good quickly, because doing and facing the reality that we are every day is difficult, and asking people to do difficult things in the face of in a situation that is really difficult is in fact difficult. Could you believe that?
No, it makes perfect sense. But how we got there is its own challenge. And just from the corporate standpoint, it's always been service to customer, but the truth is that even that suffered. Have you not noticed that in most large corporate settings, the customer gets the second hand to somebody? And it's usually because it's return to shareholder value of some way, shape, or form. Not saying that that's the sole thing and we should focus on that. What I am saying is that effect of shareholder value in terms of how corporate relations are leads to less customer service, leads less to employee relations being poorer and poorer, more employee relationships being poorer and poorer, which leads to less care for community itself and care for the environment. I mean, all of that suffers when it's not in balance. That is my personal opinion on this, is that if we're able to take care of ourselves individually, how can we take care of each other better is understanding the system that we live in. That if you drain the water supply for the town because your business is doing something with water, it's cleaning it and giving it back out and being consumed by people. Well, guess what? If that water supply isn't replenished, nobody has any water. If you're returning to shareholder value and you're willing to sacrifice on how well you treat the customer, that's going to have a down trickle effect. If all you're focusing on is the customer at the expense of the people you're working with, you're going to have a poor customer experience regardless. So, understanding the interconnectedness of all of this is a very good first step to understanding where the root causes are, because I think there's more than one, and how when we take care of ourselves and wellness, that corporate wellness is really about how well can we take care of each other better.
I think a lot of people miss that mark, that this is about taking care of each other, not just ourselves.
Yes.
It's really hard. I don't know if we're ever going to get there. I have hope that over time as individuals, if this wellness culture continues and we continue to see people taking care of themselves and understanding what it means to take care of themselves from a internal perspective and awareness perspective, that opens you up then to becoming a little bit more aware of how other people are feeling, right?
Right.
When you're just so bogged down with the world, it's hard to even look out and realize other people are feeling a certain way. And my hope is that over time, this continues to increase and hopefully infiltrate the culture. There becomes more of this awareness of, hey, you know what? We actually do need to take care of each other. We do actually need community. We do actually need to be thinking more about what the greater purpose is than just what can I get out of this today?
We've done that for so long, and it might have
Yeah.
even arguably since the turn of the 20th century. And before that was survival mechanisms. I think we evolved as a society, as human beings, to search for meaning and purpose more. And it just so happened that at some point in the past, where people say we had a better quality of life in some way, yeah, we got better with our health in certain ways, but things have went differently because community has evolved in a point where we may not really have that much of a community anymore. Point being is that that work that you're talking about that is so darn difficult because we are so bogged down, you kind of have to do it. Like if you're really tired and you don't go to the gym, you still have to put the work in order to get the results. So I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm saying that it still needs to be done regardless. It just depends on what level can you get it to start putting that work in to do it.
And that's what capacity building is. I mean, that's what we
Exactly.
talk about when we say that you need to build capacity. It's not that you can't do it. It's not that you can't go to the gym. It's that you need to build capacity in order to do the things you want to do. And a lot of the times that means building capacity for difficult conversations. That means tackling the root cause problems. But you need to be able to get yourself to a baseline level where you're even willing to tackle those things.
Hmm.
And I think that the wellness movement gives me hope that maybe one day we will get there. We will get enough people at a baseline where we can understand the damage that we've done as a society and to each other,
Yeah.
and understand that we can actually build that. And I think, to your point, there is a lot of community still out there.
Yeah.
I
It's
think that
definitely yearned for. I mean,
it,
people want
people
community,
want
and it's just a
community.
really tough thing to relearn how
and
to do.
and there is a resurgence of faith, and that doesn't mean just in religion. That's spirituality of all kinds. So you've got this yearning for community, you've got this yearning for spirituality, and friendship. You get this purpose, faith, friendship, community. All of these things build happiness. That is how we build a better tomorrow. That starts with us individually, and that's why I'm a huge fan of the wellness movement.
Now, it may not be for us, it was kind of explored, right? As far as seeing the connection between wellness movement and community. There is a leap there, and I understand that, and I think you understand that as
Yeah.
well. One of my professors I had in law school years ago said, Property law is about relationships," but that ties into just about every single part of the fabric of human existence. Is that human existence and living a purposeful life and having faith and having friendships may start individually in order to be able to get up out of bed and do the things you need to do to survive. But the purpose of humanity is relationships and is in service to others. I personally believe that it is in service to others. The fact is that history shows you need relationships. And so I do think that that ties into, if you're able to take care of yourself, you can take care of others better. Because once you're able to take care of yourself and focus on the things that make you healthy, you still have a hole in your heart or in your soul that says, I need to be connected with other people in some way, shape, or form, whatever that connection looks like. That to me says that the wellness movement can be a wellness at work is how do we, and wellness at home in our communities, because there's anger all across the board. How do we take care of each other better?
So, Eric, are
Yeah.
you saying that my red light therapy and my sauna is going to actually make me a better person and help the world?
I'm saying if you can take care of yourself,
Ah!
sure.
Thank you.